we did a big old skip there. I finished greasing, servicing this thing this morning because I ended up filling the drill and we went out rolling, as you saw. So we're out here, and I just wanted to show you guys. It was too wet for the ripper to get through here last fall, it looks like. There's some muddy tracks over there. So this did not get ripped, obviously. One pass. This mulch finisher tillage tool is, it's amazing. I don't know if I could ever go back to a regular field cultivator after running this. As I can tell you from experience on some highly erodible ground, when we used to have like a 50 or 55 foot DMI, it would just ball up. It would take the trash, the harrow, and it would just make big balls, and you'd have to plug up, you'd have to turn, raise it up, let it spread out. It was just kind of a nightmare, but this is going really nicely through these stalks. Not a lot of residue back here. You know, like the crop's not spectacular by any means, but there's a crop. It's worth coming back here. Just kind of saying that because I'm sure someone's going to be like, well, then why do you even rip in the fall? Well, the sunlight is able to get down to the dirt. Like I said, there's not a lot of trash residue between the rows, so it did dry out pretty decently. But in some of our wetter areas, or I know this is pretty wet, but in some of the heavier ground, or where there's you know, more residue from the corn crop, those fields they're not going to dry out without ripping. So we just kind of got lucky with the weather so far, and that's why I'm able to do this. I'm surprised it's working up as dry as it is, but it's still wet. It needs to sit for a good day before we plant it tomorrow evening. Maybe. Kind of skedaddled out of here pretty quick last night around 9:15 or so. Get home and help with the bedtime routine for baby girl. They had come out, my wife and her had come out and rode with me in the afternoon while I was working some ground. And then they went home, but I'm pretty lucky to have a wife that understands the farm stuff, grew up around the farm stuff, and I'm able, that's what allows me to get out here and do what I can out here. So farm wives, they're definitely the real MVP. A little after 5 in the morning, got some new seed totes up there. So I ended up getting to the field, you know, early that morning. I had worked the night prior. First rock of the season here for me on the rock picker. I catch a little more dirt than I'd like, but not bad for the first rock, you know, especially being tired and whatnot. The dirt does fall through. So I zipped across these fields before the drill to kind of get a head start on him that morning. And the rock picker, I mean, it's just so nice to be able to zip around, save your back, and get these bigger rocks that are going to be issues and whatnot. And it's nice that we have the loader on here because, you know, we come across these bigger branches that had fallen in the field. Able to push those off so we can farm the whole field again, get those out of the way so they're not issues for the sprayer and the combine later on. But, yeah, I just kind of zipped around that morning, like I say, got a head start. And I really did. That was about the main day that I had run the rock picker this year. I just, like I say, I wanted to get out early that morning so we could get planted there before the rain was coming. So that's about it. We'll jump back into the normal video here soon, I think. Well, hope you enjoyed the drone footage of the rock picker quick. Probably the last day the rock picker is going to run. And my first day running it. So those were my first rocks of the season that you saw get picked there. A little rusty at first, but it comes back to you pretty quick. A couple of those I got a little more dirt than I would have liked, but the dirt falls through. But once you get the hang of it, you can scoop them up and keep almost not even stop. It's just hard to film and fly the drone and everything else. But I got one more tree to push off the field. The roller should be here in the next half hour. He's never been to this field, so I'm gonna stick around and make sure he finds it okay. Just doesn't take long. You get a couple big ones up front, and you can't really pile them in there anymore. So, and there's no sense to drag the weight around, so we're gonna get rid of these here. Well, we're just pretty much wrapped up the vast majority of beans yesterday evening, and there's about 6-7 acres worth of one little field, or actually 2 little fields, and then we're trying to get a little closer to one wet hole, and we'll be done. But kind of testing the waters, having to back into a couple, there's a couple bigger rocks kind of in a lower spot that's always just stays wet basically, and front end of these trap ears, they like to sink, so I ended up having to back over the rock, scoop it, and then pull out. So then bury myself here on the last little bit because I'm kind of over getting stuck this year. A couple diggers stuck in the same spot, luckily not at the same time, and got out no trouble. And then I think the planter got stuck in one of the driveways, and we'll leave it at that hopefully for this year. One thing that did come to my mind also about the rolling in front is then we kind of break that crust, because at times you know, that rolling afterwards, and if it rains and then gets really hot, you almost are like pouring a concrete slab over the seeds. So I gotta take the rock picker got stuck the other day. I just went at it from a different angle and backed down in there and snagged it out of there, but the fields look so nice after they're planted. It's supposed to rain tomorrow morning. Picked like a 6-acre field, and then these 3 monsters, and we got a pretty good basket on. We're gonna dump it here, and that should actually be the end of rock picking. Just buzz back to the farm, grab the roller, roll those couple little fields quick, and he'll be right behind me with the planter. Bada bing, bada boom. 2022 planting will be done. Just finishing rolling down here where that tile inlet's working backwards from the field next door. I don't recall what happened right there. Anyway, he was able to sneak in here, it looks like, with a drill and just kind of go across it. So I'm just kind of going over the top of it to level it out. And maybe just see him right over there. He just finished the last 1-acre field. So unless there's any surprises, I think we're done planting for 2022. I'm just gonna sneak back out of this field. Just kind of closing up a few areas that he was able to sneak in with the drill. Like you can see here, I wasn't able to dig that up, but this little area is not going to be any trouble. And then the roller is forgiving in the sense that it goes over and kind of closes that up and smoothens it out for us. Here would be a good example. I didn't fully finish my sentence because I got a phone call. So here you can see, obviously this was rolled, then drilled, and then this is where I just drove myself back into the field here. So let's actually get out and look at this. Nice and loose. You know, if the rain, or if it rained and then it got super hot, you know, I don't know. I just think there's a better chance of it fighting through a little bit looser soil on top. Whereas over here, we've seen it where years past, it's turned to concrete pretty much. So I don't know. One year we did roll afterwards too, and one year we planted with the row crop planter and rolled after that because it just works better that way with that. But it's just what we do. It's how we go. So there we go. Let's get folded up, get back to the farm. This will just be our little test strip, I guess. But the stuff rolled after the drill as well. I don't think we've ever really noticed a significant advantage to make us go out and do that. And just with the time and manpower and everything else, and just, we don't do that. But we'll see here. There's a little strip. Just about to pull in the garage here. Spend a little time at home, maybe an hour here before I gotta start getting ready for work tonight. But planting season is a wrap. Y dropping will be here before we know it. So stay tuned. Thanks for checking in. Be safe as always. Check you later.